Hey guys, so I just used milk chocolate and 70% dark chocolate from Coles because it was nice and cheap, and then I just cracked up these chocolate bars into the squares and I placed it inside of a glass safe bowl so it's safe for microwaving and to melt the chocolate in, and make sure it's not plastic, otherwise the plastic will actually melt itself. And then I grabbed a mini pot and I added boiling water from the kettle and I added my little glass bowl inside of the pot to melt the chocolate, and make sure that the actual bowl isn't sitting inside of the boiling water, otherwise it'll burn the chocolate. And while I was waiting for that to completely melt, I got my cherry ripe bars, 4 of them, and I started cutting them up very finely, and this didn't take too long. It was quite quick, which is really good, and the whole recipe is actually really quick. So I then grabbed Scotch fingers and I cut them up finely as well, nice and thin, because we don't want them to be too chunky inside the rocky road. And then I grabbed some gingerbread men, very festive. I grabbed about 5 of them and I cut them up as well. And then I prepped a baking paper with coconut oil inside a baking tray, I guess you could call it, and then I just started putting all of my biscuits and cherry ripes inside to act as the base. And then I cut up some pretzels, some little pretzel sticks, and make sure they're not too long, otherwise they'll cut your gums, which isn't good. And then I grabbed some pink and white marshmallows because they are the main part of Rocky Road and it pretty much keeps the whole Rocky Road intact. And then I grabbed some Christmas green and red M&Ms because it adds a lot of colour, makes it pretty, and it makes it more festive. And then I poured in our melted chocolate, and this is actually where I went wrong, unfortunately. I didn't have enough chocolate bars. The 3 bars blocks wasn't enough, and I had to melt another 2 bars, as you can see here. I just used the 95% dark chocolate, and then once I melted the second batch of the chocolate, I poured it on top of our Rocky Road base. And that's it. So now we just refrigerate it for 1 to 2 hours, but I was impatient and I put it in the freezer so it was done within an hour. And this is what the Rocky Road looks like once you have finished refrigerating it. It looks so good. As you can see, the colour's quite dark and rich. That's because we used the 70% and the 95% dark chocolate. And as you can see, it slides quite easily out of the baking tray because we used our parchment paper. And now to the fun part, which is cutting the Rocky Road up and putting it on a plate. Now it was a little bit hard to cut up, as you can see, but what I had to do was I had to warm up my knife in some boiling water, and I just let it sit in there for about 30 seconds, and then it cuts through the chocolate nice and smoothly without breaking it into random shapes and sizes. And then, so it's all cut up now, as you can see, and I cut it a little bit bigger. I should have cut it a little bit smaller, but that's okay. And it looks so good, and I'm going to present this on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and give it to my friends and family, and I am so excited to try it. Look how good this looks, guys. My mouth is watering. Oh my goodness. And it's also a great present to make for friends, your family, aunties, whoever, or even yourself. And you can put it in a little mason jar and put a ribbon around it with a little tag on it, or you could even wrap it up in baking paper. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and Merry Christmas! Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!